Hello, this is Bilby presenting RetroCollect. As a user, I want to be able to search for game by general criteria so that I may view a list of games with similar criteria. As a user, I want to be able to search by name into the main activity search bar and call the search activity so that I may see the results. The target criteria is the search activity opens and displays a list of results. As a user, I want to be able to click a game on the search results so that I can see more detailed results from it. Click on a list item and open the game activity. As a user, I'd like to be able to do another search once I am in the search panel so that I do not have to unnecessarily leave the activity. Enter a search result with a button and display the results. As a user, I want to be able to view cover images of all games that appear as a search result so that I may identify games visually. When the search results are displayed, cover images are displayed next to all of them. As you can see, there's cover images for all of our games as they load in. As a user, I want games to be sorted by relevance so that I don't have to search through the games chronologically. When order by relevance is selected from a menu, the search responses are ordered differently. So as you can see, it changes the order of the results. As a user, I want to be able to choose between ordering by date and relevance so that I may find my games more easily. When the user long clicks the search bar, a menu appears asking by which order results should be displayed. As a user, I want to be able to click a button so that refresh the prices on my screen so that I may know the value of the search results. When the refresh prices button is clicked, the items appear with prices next to them. These can change over time. They're being updated live. As you can see, as a user, I want to be able to select a game from the search results so that I may add to my collection or my wish list. As a user, I want to be able to long click on a search result and see an option between adding the game to my wish list or collection so that I may add games to either. So if we go here, we have this option right here. As a collection, I want to be stored in a database that I may access later by a user. After saving data to the collection and wish list, the game data shows in the collection and wish list. So I'll add this to the wish list, and then I'll add the same game here to the collection. Go to the collection and verify the game's right there. And verify that the game's right there. As a user, I want to be able to click on in my search criteria and launch a map so that I may find where this game may be locally. So we can look for Zelda again. We can long click this item. As a user, I want to be able to long click a game and from a menu choose to call a map, which will have local game stores near my locations that I may view their locations. From the long click fragment, select show local stores, and a map appears showing local stores. So I could go here, find local game stores, click OK. In the emulator, this is Google headquarters, which is the location for it, and there's actually 2 GameStops near it. So as a collector, I want to open my collection so that I may view the market value of all of its items. As a user, I want to be able to see the total value of my collection so that I may use that information for my own accounting. When the collection activity is opened, total sum of all prices is displayed. There you go. As a user, I want to be able to open my wish list and see the current prices for the items in my wish list. When the wish list is open, the items have their prices on them. They have their wish list prices. As a user, I want to be able to see the total value of my collection so that I may use that information for my accounting. As a collector, I want to open my collection so I can view the market value of all of its items. As a user, I want to be able to see the total value of my collection so that I may use that information for my accounting. When the collection activity is opened, a total sum of all prices is displayed. As a user, I want to be able to see the total value of my collection so that I may use the information for my accounting. When the activity is open, items have their price on them. So you can see they have their price on them, and the total value is displayed. As a user, I want to be able to open my wish list and see the current price for the items on my wish list. When the wish list is open, items have their price on them. You can see that. As a user, I want to be able to see the total value of the items on my wish list so that I may see how much money my habits cost me. When the wish list is open, there's a total value of wish list is displayed. You can see that there. As a user, I want to be able to sort the wish list by value so that I may see the games, most expensive games I want to buy first. So we have several ordering systems right here. We do by value, and the most expensive game appears first. As a user, I want to be able to sort the collection by value so that I may see the most valuable game I own first. When by value on the menu is chosen, items are sorted by value. As you can see, there it is.
Hi class, this is Haseeb Amin. Let's start off with the user experience and theme. As a user, I want interesting buttons on the main screen so that I'm identifying my choices. Main screen has interesting buttons with identification. So when we click these buttons, they pop out. They have identification in the form of clip art and text, or in the search case, it's just clip art. Now let's go on to the collection. As a user, I want my games to be displayed in a grid upon my choice and by default so that I may view them easily. Games are displayed in a grid by default or when switched to grid. So let's go to a collection. These games are displayed in a grid. We can switch them back to a grid. As a user, I want a submenu that allows me to choose between views so that I may choose how I view my games. Menu contains submenu with different view options. So we got a menu, little submenu for view types. As a user, I want my games to be placed into a list style view upon my choice so that I may view them easily. Games are displayed in a list when the user wants. When we click list, we've got the games in a list. As a user, I want to be able to long press a game in my wish list, opening a dialog so that I may view additional options. Dialog opens on long press. Let's go to the wish list. Long press again, and get an option. As a user, I want to be able to have an option upon long press to ask me to share my games so that I may share them. Dialog contains option for sharing in both collections. So we see ask a friend to buy in this one for the wish list, and for collection we see share. As a user, I want to click the share option to send a game title via text to a friend so that they may view it. Choosing share option sends text message to specified contact with game name. So we can click ask friend to buy, send a message, and it sends it. As a dialog in the wish list, I want to contain multiple buying options so that the user may select between them. Dialog contains options for local and online merchants. So let's go back to the wish list. Long press, and we see we've got local and online merchants. As a user, I want to view online buying options after selecting online merchants. so that I may make a buying decision. The user is sent to an Amazon search for the game. Click online, press OK, and see this Amazon search for the game right here. As a user, I want to view local merchants after selecting local merchant so that I may make a buying decision. The user is sent to the local merchant activity. OK. And we see that the user was sent to the local merchant activity. As a user, I want to be able to view walkthroughs for my games in my collection so that I may use these walkthroughs. Dialog contains option for walkthrough, which opens a walkthrough search. So let's go to the collection, one of these games, walkthroughs, and we'll get a game facts page with walkthroughs on the game. As a user, I want to be able to move games in my wishlist to my collection so that I may sort them properly. Dialog contains option to move game from wishlist to collection. So let's go to the wishlist. Let's select Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX and move it to the collection. Let's see. And it is in the collection right at the bottom there. As a user, I want to be able to remove games from either my wishlist or my collection so that I may be rid of them. Dialog contains option to remove game. So let's go to the collection and let's remove this game that we just moved in here. It's okay, and it's not there anymore. As a user, I want my games to be sorted alphabetically as soon as I open either collection so that they are in order. Games are sorted as soon as activity opens. So we can see D, M, P, these are all in order. And wishlist, same story. These all start with T, and the last one is with a Z. As a user, I want to be able to sort my games either by rating or alphabetically on demand so that I may have control over how they are sorted. Menu option allows the user to choose a sort method. So let's sort these by rating. And we can see that changed the order of them. Let's go back to alphabetical. As a user, I want to click a game so that I may go to another activity. Clicking game sends the game activity, so when we simply click one, sends it to another activity. As a user, I want my games to have an image of the cover and name so that I may identify them. Each item contains cover photo and name. So we can see throughout the whole video that these all have cover photos and they have names. For the barcode scanner, as a user, I want camera permissions requested for me so that the app can use the camera if desired. App permission is requested when barcode button is clicked for the first time. So I've reinstalled the app on my phone so that it'll ask me for permission, and you can see that it's asking, click allow, and it's allowed. As a barcode activity, I want to contain a camera viewfinder so that I may view barcodes. Camera viewfinder shows up on the screen and auto focuses. So there's our viewfinder. Focuses on this, refocuses. As a barcode activity, I want to be able to recognize barcodes that pass in my view so that I may use their information. Barcodes in view are recognized. This barcode in this view, and you can see that the numbers popped up. As a user, I want to see if the barcode found matches any games and view the game it matches so that I may ensure that it is the right product. Barcode is parsed into product name and product name displayed. Click confirm barcode. You see that the product name shows up, and that is the game that I scanned. As a user, I want to search for the game that has been parsed through the barcode so that I may add it to my collection. User can search for the parsed game with error handling. So, click search for game. You can see that it searched for the game. Go back. We'll open the barcode for the first time. It hasn't written any barcode. We'll click confirmed. It says no barcode scanned. Let's scan a barcode from something that's not a game. Try it out. And it says barcode not found.
Hello, my name is Garrett Clement, and I'm here to talk to you today about the local merchant activity and its functionality. User story. As a map, I want to use the device's GPS location so that I can show the user local game merchants around him or her. Acceptance criteria. Show the GPS location and the game merchants that are within the 5-mile radius of the user's location. So if we go ahead and navigate to our local merchants activity, we can see here is our GPS location and the surrounding game stores within a 5-mile radius. User story. As a user, I want to be prompted to turn on my GPS so that I do not have to search for it. Acceptance criteria. When the map is launched, prompt the user to turn on their GPS if it is currently deactivated. So if we go ahead and navigate out of this, turn off our GPS locationing, and go back to the local merchants activity, we'll be prompted to turn on our GPS. As a map, I want to be able to redirect the user if they do not turn on their GPS, so that the user cannot access me without it activated. Acceptance criteria. When the return button is clicked, return the user to the main activity, else if GPS is activated, show the game merchants. So if we click the return button, this will take us back to our main activity. Let's navigate back to the map. If we click the enable button, we'll be taken to settings where we can turn on our location. Now if we navigate back, we can see our GPS location with the surrounding game stores. User story. As a marker, I want to be able to be clicked so that I can show details about the merchant. Acceptance criteria. When a marker is clicked, a dialog fragment is launched containing merchant details. So if we go over here and click a marker, we can see a dialog fragment is launched with various details. User story. As a dialog fragment, I want to display details about the game merchant so that the user might be able to view them. Acceptance criteria. Show 2 different dialog fragments and the information that they display about the game. So we can see that this is GameStop. The status of it right now is currently open, the phone number to get it a hold of them, the website, and the current operation hours. We go down here and click on this one, we can see that this is vintage stock and the various information about this particular store. User story. As a user, I want to be able to click an item so that I can call the merchant. Acceptance criteria. When the phone number item is clicked, a dialer app is launched. So if we click this phone number item, we can see a dialer app is launched with the store's phone number ready to be called. User story. As a user, I want to be able to click an item so that I can go to the merchant's website. Acceptance criteria. When the website item is clicked, the user is taken to the merchant's website. So if we go over here and click the website item, we get taken to vintagestock.com where we can view their website. That pretty much concludes the app's local merchant activity and its functionality. Now let's talk about the bubble widget and its functionality. User story. As a user, I want to be able to click a button so that I can launch the bubble widget and be informed that it was launched. Acceptance criteria. When the bubble widget button is clicked, launch the widget and toast to the user it is running. So if we go over here and click on this, and click it one more time, we get bubble widget is now running. User story. As a bubble widget, I want to hide when the user is in the main app and appear when the user is outside of it, so that the user can access me. Acceptance criteria. Show that the bubble widget appears when outside of the app, but hides while in the app. So if we navigate outside of the app, we can see our bubble widget appears. If we go back to our main app, we can see that it will disappear. As a bubble widget, I want to be able to be clicked so that I can navigate the user back to the main app. Acceptance criteria. Click on the bubble widget and navigate back to the app. So if we back out and click on our bubble widget, it will navigate us back to our main app. User story. As a bubble widget, I want to be transparent, but when touched, I want to be opaque, so that the user knows they are touching me. Acceptance criteria. Show the bubble widget is transparent when not being touched, but is opaque when touched. So if we go back out here, we can see that our bubble widget is currently transparent, but if we click it, we notice that it was opaque for a second. User story. As a bubble widget, I want to be able to be dragged around the screen so that the user might adjust my location. Acceptance criteria. Show the bubble widget being dragged around the screen. So we can click on the bubble widget and we can move it around the screen. User story. As a bubble widget, I want to snap to the side of the screen when the user releases me, so that I do not get in the user's way, or get in the way of the user. Acceptance criteria. Show that the bubble widget snaps to the left and right side of the screen when released. So we can grab the bubble widget and release it, and we'll notice it snaps to the side of the screen. If we take it over here on this side of the screen and release it, it'll snap to the right side of the screen. User story. As a user, I want to be able to close the bubble widget so that I can remove it from the screen. Acceptance criteria. Show that the bubble widget is removed when long clicked. So if we go over here and long click this, it will remove the bubble widget from the screen. And that pretty much concludes the bubble widget's functionality.
Hello, this is Nicholas Clemmons. I'm here to present the epic user story and child user stories that I've completed for RetroCollect. First epic user story. Under the game category. As a collector, I want to be able to access details about a game from my collection, my wish list, and when I search for a game so that I can access information about it. As you can see in the collection, you can select a game and view details about it. Next is the wish list. You can select a game, view details about it. And finally, the search. As you can see, we have another game. First child user story under this epic user story is that as a game, when displayed, I want to contain my basic metadata so that the user can view my basic details. Acceptance criteria. The game's title, release year, release date, publishers, and studios are displayed. I'll view a game in our collection. I'll select Dig Dug 2. As you can see, we have the game's title, the release year, the release date, the publishers, and the studio. Or studios in some cases. Next, child user story. As a game, I want to contain my cover image so that the user can know what I look like. Acceptance criteria. When displayed, the game must display its cover image. Select a game here, Call of Duty 3. As you can see, it has the cover image. Select another one, Pac-Man. Again, we have the cover image. Next, child user story. As a game, I want my cover image to be large and adjust itself based on its size when displayed, so that the user can more easily view my cover image. As you can see, we'll select another game. This one has a typical size cover image. We'll go back to the wish list, view a smaller game. A good example is Paper Mario. As you can see, everything is shrunk to accommodate the image. The acceptance criteria again, where when displayed, the game's cover image must be large and adjust itself based on its size. Next child user story. As a game, I want to contain information on my online rating so that the user can access rating information. Acceptance criteria. When displayed, the game must display its online rating. We'll go back to the collection for this. Select a game. Battlefield 1, we have the online rating right, or 74.2 out of 100. Next child user story. As a game, I want to display my online rating with an animated graphic so that the user can view my rating information in an easier way. Acceptance criteria. When displayed, the game must display its rating in an animated progress bar so its value is out of a max possible rating of 100. You already saw an example of this, of the rating bar animated. Select another game. The Dig. As you can see, it's animated. And again, the rating is out of 100. Next child user story. As a game, when displayed, I want to have the user's rating of me so that the user may see how they rate me. Select the game. The acceptance criteria. When displayed, the game has a user rating and the rating is stored so that it can be viewed again. Select a game without a rating so we can show that it's saved. We'll do user work, and of course we'll give it 5 stars. And we'll go back, view the game again, and the rating is stored. Next, we'll choose another game and modify the rating. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. The current rating is 4 stars out of 5, and we'll change it to 2.5 stars out of 5. Again, we'll open it, and it's saved. Next child user story. As a game, I want to display my current price so that the user can more easily view my value. Acceptance criteria. When displayed, the game's value must be displayed. I'll select a game. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, $5.99. See, the price is displayed. Next child user story. As a game, when displayed, I want to have a button that the user can press to see a map of local merchants so that the user may find somewhere to buy a game. Acceptance criteria. When displayed, the game has a button to find local merchants. Select game. Battlefield 1. Go down to merchants. Or display with a map of the merchants. Next child user story. As a game, when displayed, I want to have a button that the user can press to see a game facts web page with more information about me so that the user can find out even more about me. Acceptance criteria. When displayed, the game has a button to view game facts web page. Select another game, Dig Dug. Down at the bottom, there's a game facts button to present you with a web page. As you can see, there's a game facts web page. Next child user story. As a game, when displayed, I want to be displayed properly in both horizontal and vertical orientations so that the user may view me in both orientations. Acceptance criteria. The game is displayed properly in both horizontal and vertical orientations. I'll select another game. Let's see, Battlefield 4. As you can see, vertically, everything looks nice and professional. We rotate it into landscape. Again, everything looks nice and professional as zoomed in. Let's try one more game with more details and publishers so that you can see how the text looks. I go sideways. Again, looks nice. Next epic user story is under the user experience and theme category. As an application, I want to have my own unique theme and design so it look professional and cohesive. Child user story. As an application, I want to have my own unique icon so that I'm easy for the user to identify. Acceptance criteria. The RetroCollect application has its own unique application icon. Go to the home page. As you can see, there's a RetroCollect icon. And the app is launched. Next, child user story. As a theme, I want to have my own color scheme so that I'm unique. Acceptance criteria. The RetroCollect application is its own unique color scheme in accordance with Android material design. Throughout my demonstration and previous demonstrations from my colleagues, you could see that we have an orange theme. And the reason we went with orange is so that it kind of has a retro feel. As you can see it in the collection, the main screen, the wish list, and any other page in the app. The colors were also chosen in order to maintain Android material design based on the guidelines presented by Google. That's my last user story. Thank you for watching.